Hi guys, this is Hirosaki. This story is all about what if Naruto was sent to Westeros. After Naruto defeated Madara and the 10-tailed beast, Kami sent him to his new destiny in Westeros. Found by Robert and Ned, Naruto will face the battles for the Seven Kingdoms. Now the stags, wolves and lions must deal with the fox as Naruto will shift the game for the Iron Throne. Welcome aboard! Chapter 3, The House Uzumaki. The House Uzumaki and the Ferocious Fox. Months had passed since Naruto's rise to ruling regent and protector of the realm. The capital was growing more by the day as refugees fled to the city because of the war with the Starks and Lannisters. Many were expecting a city filled with people in the streets as the nobles ignored the peasants, but that was not what they found. They saw a beautifully refurbished city as new halls and buildings were created. Merchants were selling their food or items as children ran through the streets playing. The city guard watched over the people, ensuring safety and security. Numerous new banners were made in support and praise for the man who ruled the city, Lord Naruto Uzumaki, the rider of the ferocious fox. Grateful merchants and tailors made banners as praise to the ruling regent. It was a orange and crimson banner with a picture of the mighty nine-tailed fox that protected the city. Underneath the fox was Naruto's leaf headband symbol drawn on and the words "Never give up, never go back on your word, and destiny can be changed" sewn on. Many merchants and store owners had the banners outside their stores, and the city watch even had them on flags around the city. It was a symbol of their loyalty and praise to their ruler. Speaking of said ruler, he was in a meeting with his councilmen, Grand Maester Pycelle, Ser Barristan, head of the Kingsguard, Ser Travenkleber, commander of the City Watch, and Kurama, the nine-tailed fox and unofficial protector deity of the city. Naruto called a meeting to address the issues of the day. "A raven arrived from the citadel this morning, my lord. The conclave has met, considered reports from maesters all over the Seven Kingdoms, and declared this great summer done," Pycelle said as a squire brought in the white raven from the citadel. "At last, the longest summer in living memory. The people say that a long summer means an even longer winter," Ser Barristan said. "A common superstition," Pycelle said. "One man's superstition is another man's truth. I think the kid and I understand that better than anyone," Kurama said, lying down on a nice mat as Naruto chuckled. "We were able to harvest enough wheat for a 7-year winter. If last any longer, then we may have problems," Kleber said. "The city is attracting more and more refugees, my lord. They are fleeing the war, and with winter coming, I fear we may experience some trouble," Ser Barristan told Naruto. Naruto thought to himself for a moment. We cannot deny entrance into the city. People have fled their homes to escape the war and to be safe, and as the capital of the realm, we must provide them that," Naruto said as everyone nodded with his mindset. Ser Kleber gathered the city's architects and stonemasons. "We will discuss where to best house the refugees, and Kurama and I can see it done quickly," Naruto said as Ser Kleber nodded. "Yes, my lord," Kleber replied. "Grand Maester Pycelle, are there any fields available for additional harvest and planting?" Naruto asked. "None in the city, unfortunately. But the fertile lands just outside the walls are ripe for farming," Pycelle said. "Perfect. Call Horton Pryor, he speaks for the farmers in the city. We will discuss the planting and setting of the fields outside the walls. With help from Kurama's potent growth seeds, we can grow more food in time before the winter goes harsh," Naruto said as Pycelle nodded. With some quick thinking, Kurama and Naruto were able to create chakra-infused seeds that speed the growth of plants and keep them healthy with zero negative repercussions. "Brilliant, my lord," Pycelle said. "Ser Barristan, what news of the war?" Naruto asked. "The Lannisters have been on the defensive, sending out small skirmishes against the Starks as they stay in Casterly Rock. They've been using their port city of Lannisport to try and gain an edge and seek possible alliances with other houses. Our scouts have said that they haven't made any move towards King's Landing, for now," Ser Barristan said. "Renly has wed Marjorie of House Tyrell and has an army of loyal subjects backing his right as true king." "What of Stannis?" Naruto asked. "Some concerns there, my lord. Rumors have spread that Stannis allies himself with someone known as the Red Woman," Ser Barristan said. Melisandre of Ashai. Naruto said, "Yes, my lord. The Red Priestess of the Lord of Light. She has become an advisor to him." Ser Barristan said as Naruto was a little concerned. Religious fanatics were often the worst, take Haydn for example. "I wouldn't worry, my lord. Hokum religion and all that." Pycelle said, "It is not the religion that has me concerned, but why Stannis has her as his advisor. Stannis is supposed to be a man of war. I've never heard of his turn to religion." Naruto said, "What concerns you, my lord?" Kleber asked. "In my experience, religious fanatics often make for the most worrisome of foe." Naruto said, "How do we proceed, my lord?" Ser Barristan asked. "For now, leave them be. We must focus on the issues at hand." Naruto said as everyone nodded. "Now if that will be all." Naruto said as everyone got up. Ser Barristan, another moment if you wouldn't mind. Naruto said as Barristan stayed in the room. "What concerns you, my lord?" Barristan asked as Naruto chuckled while he got 2 cups of wine. "There is no need for formalities, not that they are gone." Naruto said as Ser Barristan nodded and drank from the cup of wine. "How are our forces?" Naruto asked. 200 Kingsguard. 5,000 city watch trained and in the city with more recruits coming by the day. Barristan said. "So, by numbers, we wouldn't stop an attack on the city?" Naruto asked. "Not that that would matter. Not when we have the ferocious fox with us." Ser Barristan said as they looked at one of the banners they hung in the room. "I like it, it showcases all of my best qualities." Kurama said as Naruto and Ser Barristan chuckled. "What worries you, Naruto?" Barristan asked. "The war continues and gets worse by the day. We have the Lannisters to worry about, but with Renly and Stannis. I feel that an attack to King's Landing is coming, and if I'm not sure if I should fight back against the rightful rulers of the kingdom." Naruto said as Ser Barristan seemed to understand. "Naruto, if you would have told me that last year you would be ruling the kingdom and that the city would be thriving, I would have thought you crazy." Barristan said as Naruto and Kurama chuckled. "But if the past few months have shown me anything, it is that destiny can be changed." Barristan said as Naruto smiled as him using one of Naruto's beliefs. "Naruto, the people of King's Landing adore you. Your rule as regent has given them more food than they have had for hundreds of years, and you've changed the city." Barristan said as he pointed to Banner. "The people made that to honor you, in honor and respect for what you have done for them. No Baratheon or Lannister could have done what you have done for them. Perhaps it's time you think as ruling as king instead of regent. In my years in the Kingsguard, I have protected a madman and an old drunk soldier. For the past few months, I have served a man of honor, and I will continue to do so until death comes for me." Ser Barristan said as Naruto smiled. "He's right, Kit. You've done wonders here. And besides, the House of Uzumaki has a nice ring to it." Kurama said as Naruto and Barristan chuckled. "Easy there, Kurama. Let's end this war first." Naruto said. "Anything else, Naruto?" Barristan asked. "Yes, tell me what you remember from your time protecting the Targaryens." Naruto asked. "Back at Lannisport, the port city under control of House Lannister, Joffrey the still crown prince was having his name day celebration. Even though ravens were sent out telling the people that he was born of incest, Cersei had her guards silence any people who challenged his right to rule and even believed that he was born of incest. Her family deserved the throne. She had set up a small tournament to honor Joffrey's name day and to help keep his mind occupied while she had to deal with some of the problems that she was facing. She met with some of her extended family to discuss the matters of the city and how her forces were doing and if they were ready to march against King's Landing and take the throne back. How is the city, my lords?" Cersei asked her council of relatives that watched over the city. "There is an unrest, my lady. We have enough wheat for a 5-year winter, but should it last longer, we will have fewer peasants." One of her council men said, "The city is drowning in refugees, your grace. People fleeing the war, we have nowhere to house them, and with winter coming it will only get worse." Her city guard captain said, "Well, do your job. Shut the gate to the peasants, they belong in the fields, not our city. The more we don't let in, the more go to the capital. Cersei said as her captain nodded reluctantly. Yes, Your Grace. He replied. Now, how are our forces? Cersei asked. We were able to amass a force of 1,500 soldiers, ready to march. One of her council men said. 1,500 soldiers? I expected more. She said in frustration. Your Grace, the rest of our men are with your father at Casterly Rock fighting against the Starks. We have no more men here to fight. Her captain said. What about the city guard? She asked. If we add them, we would have a total of 4,000 men ready to fight. The captain said. It is not enough. Conscript every able-bodied man in the city. I need an army to take back King's Landing. She said as they heard the door open. No, you won't. She heard as they saw Tyrion walk in. Don't get up. More ravishing than ever, big sister. Tyrion said as he kissed his sister on the cheek and sat down at the table. War agrees with you. Forgive the interruption, carry on. What are you doing here? Cersei asked. It's been a remarkable journey. I pissed off the edge of the wall, I slept in a sky cell, I fought with the hill tribes, so many adventures. So much to be thankful for. Tyrion said. What are you doing here? This is the small council. She said. Yes, well, the Lord and ruler of Lannisport must attend small council meetings. Tyrion said. Our father is Lord and ruler of Lannisport. Cersei said. Yes, but in his absence. Tyrion said as he handed a letter to one of the council men. Your father has named Lord Tyrion to serve as ruler in his stead while he fights out. All of you, out. Cersei yelled as the council men left. I would like to know how you tricked father into this. She said. If I were capable of tricking father, I would be emperor of the world by now. You brought this on yourself. Tyrion told her. I've done nothing. Cersei said. We know that's a lie. Tyrion said. Your attempt to take the throne from Ned Stark when he was left its regent. Your attempted coup which cost the lives of dozens of our men and your march against the capital killed men we could have used to fight the war. I tried to take back the throne for my son. Cersei said. Really, from what I've heard, he has no right to the throne. Tyrion said as Cersei got anger. Don't you say that. My son, Joffrey, is the crown prince and deserves to rule. Cersei said, wanting her son to rule as king. Be that as it may, everyone else doesn't believe so. Now we have 2 Baratheons eyeing the throne, not to mention the entire north we have to deal with because your men killed Ned Stark. Tyrion said, scolding her like a child. I tried to make peace with him. Cersei said. Did you? Well, you failed. That piece of theater will haunt our family for a generation. Tyrion said. Robb Stark is a child. Cersei said. Who's won every battle he's fought? Do you know what losing this war will mean? Tyrion asked. What do you know of war? Cersei asked. Nothing, but I know people. And that is our only hope of coming out of this conflict alive and with any dignity that we may keep. Tyrion said. If Prince Joffrey wants to see his uncle Jaime again, he'd better listen to me. How? Cersei asked. Lucky for us, Naruto happens to be a friend of mine. Granted, I don't know how our family's actions will affect his opinion on me, but hopefully I can talk to him. Get him to talk to a treaty, and the only treaty I will agree to is the one where his head is put on a pike. Cersei yelled in anger to Tyrion's plan. You try that like your previous 2 attempts to retake King's Landing, it will surely end in our deaths, not his. King's Landing is prospering now more than ever under Naruto's rule. The people adore him, and don't even want another king to rule in his place. Naruto takes care of his people first, a quality was sorely lack. Tyrion said as Cersei huffed in anger and frustration. We should march against him and put Joffrey back on the throne. Cersei said. Oh, enough, sister. Even if we had the entire kingdom behind us, we would never be a match for that fox of his. It's even stronger than the dragons. Our only hope is diplomacy. And you will leave that to me. Tyrion told his Cersei, who was not pleased. Tyrion looked outside the window to see a red comet sailing across the sky. The flying red comet is said to be an omen of the rebirth of the dragons, and that is correct. In Essos, the last 3 dragons, now newly hatched infants, were with their mother, Daenerys Targaryen, the last of her house. She was walking through the Red Waste with what remained of her loyal people. With Khal Drogo's death, she was in danger to anyone who would want her dragons. Yora advised her travel into the Red Waste to avoid her rivals and ensure her survival, but they were so few, with little supplies and no idea on what to do next. As they walked through the Red Waste, Daenerys was trying to feed her dragons the meat that they had, but the dragons weren't eating. She had the largest one, Drogon, a black and red scaled dragon, on her shoulder, trying to get him to eat, but he wouldn't. "What did your brother say about them, Khaleesi?" Doria asked. "He said they ate meat," she replied. "He didn't tell you what kind of meat?" Doria asked as Daenerys shook her head. "No. My brother didn't know anything about dragons. He didn't know anything about anything," Daenerys said. She put Drogon into his cage as she saw her horse fall to the ground. She ran up to her horse as she looked at it slowly breathing. She looked at Yora, who shook his head no, telling her the horse was going to die. "She was Drogo's first gift to me," Daenerys said. "I remember." Yora said. "I promised to protect them. I promised their enemies would die screaming." "How do I make starvation scream?" Daenerys asked, frustrated. "A trick I never learned, I'm afraid," Yora told her as she looked out into the vast land of desert they had to walk. "Does it ever end?" she asked. "This is further east than I've ever been, but yes, Khaleesi. Everything ends, even the Red Waste," Yora said. "And you're sure there's no other way?" she asked. "If we go south, to the land of Lazarene, the men will kill us and take your dragons. If we go west to the Dothraki Sea, the first Khalasar we meet will kill us and take your dragons," Yora said. "No one will take my dragons," Daenerys said. "They are too weak to fight. As are your people. You must be their strength," Yora told her. "As you are mine," she said to him. Daenerys then called on 3 of her men to head out in 3 different directions to find food and refuge. She hoped that they would return quick and with good news. Back in Westeros, night had come as the red comet shined in the sky, blanketing the stars with its light. On the island of Dragonstone, head of the Stormlands, home to one Stannis Baratheon, older brother to Renly and Robert's younger brother, Stannis was committing something that many considered insane. His advisor, Melisandre, was performing a ritual in the name of her god, the Lord of Light. She had assembled Lord Stannis and his men, other advisors and generals and other people for the ceremony. Maester Cresson of Dragonstone was running with a torch along the beach to find the ceremony as he followed the voice of the Red Woman. "Lord of Light, come to us in our darkness. We offer you these false gods. Take them and cast your light upon us," Melisandre said as they burned 7 wooden statues of the 7 gods of Westeros. "For the night is dark and full of terrors. For the light is dark and full of terrors," the people shouted out together. "After the long summer, darkness will fall heavy on the world. Stars will bleed. The cold breath of winter will freeze the seas, and the dead shall rise in the north," she said out loud as Maester Cresson joined next to Ser Davos Seaworth, a knight and advisor to Stannis. "We must stop her," Maester Cresson whispered to Davos, who looked over to see Stannis, very observant in the ritual. "Not now," Davos said as Maester Cresson couldn't take the sacrilegious things she was saying and went up in front of the crowd. "All you men were named in the light of the 7. Is this how you treat the gods of your fathers? Are you so eager to spit on your ancestors?" Maester Cresson shouted to the crowd with the last question aimed at Stannis. Maester Cresson watched as none of the men were moved or even thought about his statement, as they were completely fanatical for the new religion. "You smell of fear. Fear and piss, and old bones. Do you want to stop me?" "Stop me," Melisandre said as Maester Cresson saw that Stannis was unhappy with him and rejoined Davos. "In the ancient books, it's written that a warrior will draw a burning sword from the fire. And that sword shall be Lightbringer. Stannis Baratheon, warrior of light, your sword awaits you," Melisandre said as Stannis walked up to the statue that was in the center. He grabbed the burning sword and pulled it out of the statue. The crowd cheered as Stannis held the sword up high. He then stabbed it into the ground as the crowd kneeled and said, "Lord, the Master of Light is upon us, for the night is dark and full of terrors." Melisandre said, "For the night is dark and full of terrors." Stannis repeated as they walked back to the castle, leaving Davos and Maester Cresson. "This woman will lead him into a war he cannot win." Cresson told Davos, "Stannis is our king, we follow where he leads us, even if we don't like the path." Davos said, "King, since that boar killed his brother, every lord wants a coronation." Cresson said, "I don't serve the others. I serve Stannis." Davos said, "As do I. But loyal service means telling hard truths. He's surrounded by fools and fanatics. But he trusts you, Davos, if you tell him the truth." Cresson told Davos, "And what's the truth?" Davos asked as Cresson looked at him, just accepting Stannis to accept this new advisor for their king. Stannis had assembled his advisors and generals in a meeting to discuss what his next plan was. He was having a letter written down that he would send out to King's Landing, telling the current regent to step down and let Stannis rule as king. Stannis was listening as a script was saying what was written on Stannis's declaration letter for the crown. "And I declared upon the honor of my house, that my beloved brother, Robur, he wasn't my beloved brother," Stannis said, interrupting the scripter. "I didn't love him, he didn't love me. A harmless courtesy, your grace." Davos said, "A lie, take it out." Stannis said as the scripter scratched that part out, "That my brother, Robert, left no true-born heirs. The boy Joffrey, the boy Tommen, and the girl Myrcella being born of incest between Cersei Lannister and her brother Jaime Lannister. By right of birth Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. Call him what he is." Stannis said as the scripter made a change, "And her brother, Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. By right of birth and blood, I do this day lay claim make his Ser Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. Whatever else he is, the man is still a knight." Stannis said as the scripter made a change, "Ser Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. By right of birth and blood, I do this day lay claim to the Iron Throne of Westeros. The ruling regent and protector of the realm, Ser Naruto Uzumaki, I wasn't aware he was a knight." Stannis said, "I don't believe he is, your grace." Davos said, "Then he is no Ser, just some boy who made the right friends. Take that out." Stannis said as the scripter made another change, "The ruling regent and protector of the realm, Naruto Uzumaki, step down from the throne and let the true king rule. Let all true men declare their loyalty." The scripter said as Stannis nodded, "When Eddard Stark learned the truth, he told only me. I won't make the same mistake. Send copies of that letter to every corner of the realm, from the harbor to the wall." Stannis told the scripter, "Time has come to choose. Let no man claim ignorance as an excuse. Your grace, the Lannisters are the major concern for the time being. Their war with the Starks is hurting the kingdom, not to mention their attacks against the capital. Perhaps for the time being, you can make peace with your brother." Davos said, "I will not make peace with Renly while he calls himself king." Stannis said, "Well, many have already declared for him. Mace Tyrell, Randall Tarley." Davos said, "Stannis does not need to beg this lord or that lord for support, the Lord of Light stands behind him." Melisandre said, "And how many men and ships does the Lord of Light got at his disposal?" Davos asked, "He has no need for such things." Melisandre said, "I'm sure he doesn't, but we do if we're going to war. If not Renly, your Lord Grace, join with Robb Stark." Davos said, "Who'd steal the northern half of my kingdom? They're thieves, that's what they are. Joffrey, Renly, Robb Stark, they're all thieves. They'll bend the knee or I'll destroy them." Stannis said, "And if Naruto Uzumaki should decide to take over as king?" Davos asked, "Then I'll kill him too and take the throne like Robert did years ago. If one Baratheon can take the throne, so can another." Stannis said, "But this boy is different. His powers of magic are unlike anything we've seen before, not to mention the ferocious fox was able to repel 2 attacks against the city." Davos said, This boy is nothing to the Lord of Light. He is a follower of our one true enemy, the Lord of Nothing, and the warrior of light shall kill him and his animal pet, as the Lord of Light commands it. Melisandre said as Stannis smiled. Back with Naruto, he was having a training session with some of the new recruits to the city watch in the courtyard of the castle. He was blindfolded, with his shirt off as he stood in the center of the courtyard armed with a practice sword. He was surrounded by 5 new recruits as the others were watching. The recruits were nervous to attack, but this was training. One of the recruits charged at Naruto, but Naruto just ducked, stuck his leg out and spun, causing the recruit to fall on his face. 2 more recruits charged at Naruto while Naruto ducked and dodged and used his sword to block the strikes. He then grabbed the arm of one of the recruits, spun around and used him as a human shield to block strikes. Naruto then pushed the 2 recruits into each other and delivered a sword sweep, causing them to fall to the ground. The 4th recruit swung widely at Naruto while Naruto just blocked the strikes, then hit the recruit in the stomach with his sword, then hit the back of his leg, causing the recruit to fall to the floor, and Naruto delivered a hit to the back, pushing the man to the floor. The final recruit charged at Naruto, thrusts his sword forward, but Naruto just blocked it, smacked the sword out of the recruit's hands and held his sword against the recruit's throat, and the match was over. Naruto then took off his blindfold and smiled. Not bad, today. Better than before. Naruto said as he shook the recruits' hands and got them back on their feet. Better, you've beat us faster than 2 days ago. One of the recruits said. True, but you've adapted and started to think differently today. Naruto said as the recruits gathered around. No one man can truly ever win every fight he is expected to come across. But a smart man takes his defeats and turns them into lessons. Lessons that you must all be aware of. Just as one man is as strong as the other, working together makes you stronger than your opponent, yet how well you work together determines the outcome of the battle. Naruto said as his recruits listened in. A group of men, a group of friends working and fighting together, can breach even the toughest of armors, and that is one lesson I want you to remember. Never turn your back on your friends or your allies. Those that abandon the mission are trash, but those that abandon their friends are worse than trash. Naruto said as the men listened and nodded their heads. I won't lie to you men, I fear that King's Landing may come under attack and we will need to defend it. But I have the utmost confidence in you, we will defend King's Landing, with all we've got. Naruto yelled as his men cheered. Naruto then saw Ser Barristan and Kurama walk in and knew he wanted to talk. Now go, get some food, and remember what you've learned today. Naruto said as the recruits left and Naruto put his shirt back on, grabbed Kyuubi and strapped it on and walked up to Barristan and Kurama. Ser Barristan, what can I help you with? Some matters that need your attention, my lord. Barristan said. Of course. Naruto said. Ser Kleber has organized the architects and stonemasons, and the construction of the new housing for the refugees should be constructed within the week or so. Grand Maester Pycelle has also had the farmers tend the land outside the walls, and the food should be ready to harvest with a few months. Barristan said as the 3 walked through the courtyard. Excellent, anything else? Naruto asked. Yes, a note came down from Castle Black. The commander has asked that we send more men to man the wall. Apparently, something of men rising from the dead. Barristan said as Naruto was interested in this claim. I've known the men of the north to be superstitious, but their superstitions often prove correct. Send a message to the commander that Yoren rides back to the wall as we speak with new recruits, but should he need more men, I will see what I can do. Naruto said as Ser Barristan nodded. Of course, your grace. Barristan said. I'll take the rest of the letters in my room. Good day, Ser Barristan. Naruto said as he and Kurama said goodbye. Naruto got himself bathed and fed and returned to his room to see some new letters. Some were simple city things such as some incidents and accidents in the city and asking permission for the expansion of the taverns. He had to settle some merchant disputes and return some letters to the ports the city traded with. He then found the 2 recent letters he received. One was from Stannis Baratheon, claiming him rightful ruler, and he wanted Naruto to step down immediately. Naruto wanted to meet with Stannis first and hopefully with Renly too, to get the 2 brothers in an understanding of dealing with the Lannisters first, and then the new king can be decided. Naruto then opened the other letter, which was, surprisingly, from Kat. Kat wrote to Naruto, telling him that Rob needed ships to take Casterly Rock and Lannisport, and even though she told him Naruto would be willing to help, Rob didn't want it. Something along the lines of the fact that Naruto looked out for him his whole life. Rob wants to be his own man and make his own decisions and not look to Naruto for guidance or for help. Naruto respected that, but then he read that he asked Theon to go to the Iron Islands and request his father for ships. Naruto didn't like that. Naruto didn't trust the Greyjoys, and he especially didn't trust Theon's father. That man wanted the North to suffer and to rule it. Naruto wrote a letter back to Rob's camp saying that if Theon was gone for longer than a few weeks, then consider Theon a traitor. Naruto didn't have anything bad against Theon. Hell, he helped raise him along with Rob. He was considered family, but it was a precaution. Naruto also created 3 more clones and had them Hirishin to Winterfell to look over in case something happened, which was more than likely. Kat also wrote that Rob sent her on a trip to talk to Renly and discuss a possible alliance that would help bring down the Lannisters even faster. Renly was much more amicable than Stannis was and had more men, which made sense, and Naruto saw this as a perfect time to talk to Kat about Rob's plan to rule in the north and to talk to Renly. Naruto got up and had a meeting with his advisors in his room. "What brings our attention, Your Grace?" Pycelle asked. "I must take a leave of absence. And while I'm gone, I'm leaving a clone to take care of the city, but I would like to ask the 3 of you to step up while I'm gone." Naruto said as they thought it was a bad idea. "Sire, I don't think it would be a good idea for you to leave. King's Landing needs you." Ser Kleber said. "I know, but I must attend to some matters. Catelyn Stark rides to negotiate an alliance with Renly Baratheon against the Lannisters. I will ride to the meeting as well to discuss some matters with Renly and Kat." Naruto said. "Sire, why don't I go in your place? This city needs you here." Barristan said. "This is a meeting better done in person. I understand your worries, but I shall be fine, and so shall the city in my absence. I've left some clones to look out for possible attacks, and I shall not be going alone. Kurama shall accompany me." Naruto said. "Your Grace, are you sure this is the best action?" Pycelle asked. "It is. If I can talk with Renly, it will make our future much simpler." Naruto said, hoping he wasn't jinxing himself. Line break XXXXX. I decided to speed it up a little bit so Naruto meets Marjorie sooner. Everything that happens with Daenerys and Jon is happening as it happens on the TV show, but I want to focus a little more on Naruto and how he's working on the problems with Stannis and the Lannisters. The next day, Naruto got dressed in some nicer clothes. He had a nice black and crimson jacket/cloak on with a dark orange shirt and a black vest on and spiked black steel vambraces. He had his headband tied to his belt, which also held his pouches for kunai and shuriken, and had Kyuubi strapped to his belt. Naruto wore black boots with black pants with a crimson fire design on the bottom. On the back of Naruto's jacket was the leaf symbol, sewn on by a grateful tailor, and Naruto had Swanda's jade necklace around his neck. Kurama, who was acting as Naruto's horse, much to his displeasure, but Naruto said it would make him look badass walking into camp on the back of a giant fox, and Kurama reluctantly agreed. Naruto had Kurama fitted with a simple and comfortable saddle which held some food, supplies, and Naruto's bow and quiver of arrows. Naruto rode to the Stormlands where Renly's army was assembled. Naruto rode to camp and saw the 100,000 men Renly had, camped and training. Naruto also saw that Kat had arrived and ran up to her. "Kat!" Naruto shouted in excitement as he hugged her tight and she hugged him. "Naruto! It's so good to see you again," Kat said as she hugged him tight and kissed his head like she would her own son. She then saw how he looked and the clothes he was wearing. "Naruto, oh look at you. You look like a man who has changed into something better than he was before," Kat said as Naruto smiled. "Thank you, Kat. I'm glad you're all right. And I'm glad you came. This gives me the chance to talk to you and Renly both," Naruto said as Kat smiled. "Oh, look at you, acting like a leader," Kat teased as Naruto chuckled. Kat then saw the large fox and Naruto smiled. "Kat, this is Kurama. Kurama, this is Catelyn Stark," Naruto said as Kurama reached one of his tails out like a hand. "It's nice to meet you, Lady Stark. You have my condolences for your husband," Kurama said as they shook hands. Thank you, Lord Kurama. And thank you for your part in helping my daughters. Kat said. How are Sansa and Arya? Naruto asked. All right, but they do miss you. Katen said. Well, hopefully, this war will end soon and I can come see them. Naruto said as a soldier walked up to them. Lady Stark, Lord Naruto. I'm here to escort you to King Renly. The soldier said as Naruto and Kat nodded. Stay here, buddy. I think you might freak them out too much. Naruto said as Kurama chuckled. I know. Some people can't handle my greatness. And I promise not to terrorize the soldiers too much. Kurama joked. That's all I ask. Naruto said as he walked with Kat and the soldiers. Naruto and Kat were escorted through the camp to meet with Renly, who was hosting a fighting tournament. Naruto noticed as he walked through that many of the men seemed to be fresh recruits and not seasoned warriors, which wasn't a good thing. He also saw how they didn't seem to be taking the idea that they would be at war soon as seriously as they should. Naruto just shook his head. Renly was his friend, but he still needed to learn how to lead an army and his people with more than just a friendly demeanor. Naruto and Kat were brought to where a large portion of Renly's men had gathered to watch the tournament. The soldiers led them through the crowd as they saw two knights fighting. One of Loras Tyrell, the Knight of Flowers, but the other was unknown. Renly sat with his new wife, Marjorie of House Tyrell, as they watched the fight on their private booth. Renly was dressed in his royal armor with a crown on his head while Marjorie was dressed in her royal robes. Naruto was a bit taken back by her beauty. Naruto heard that Marjorie was as clever as she was beautiful, and boy was she beautiful. Although their marriage did raise some questions, considered Renly's preferences, which wasn't that hard to figure out. He wasn't as attracted to women as his brothers were. Naruto and Kat watched with the others in the crowd as the two knights fought. Loras used an axe while the other used a shield and a flail. The two knights traded blows as Loras was able to knock the knight's shield away but got hit in the back with the flail. The two kept fighting as the crowd cheered louder and Marjorie stood up and shouted for Loras to win. Loras then disarmed his opponent of his weapon and would have won, but his opponent tackled him to the ground and put his helmet guard up and pointed a dagger at his face. Yield. I yield. Loras said as his opponent got off him, so they both stood up. Renly clapped as the victor stood up. Well fought. Approach. Renly said as the knight and took a knee. Rise. Remove your helm. The knight removed her helmet to the shock of everyone that she was a woman. You are all your father promised and more, my lady. I've seen Ser Loras bested once or twice but never quiet in that fashion. Renly said as Loras wasn't pleased he lost. Now, my love. My brother fought valiantly for you. Marjorie told him. That he did, my queen. But there can be only one champion. Brienne of Tarth, you may ask anything of me you desire. If it is within my power, it is yours. Renly told Brienne. Brienne then took a knee. Your Grace, I ask the honor of a place in your Kingsguard. I will be one of your 7, pledge my life for yours and keep you safe from all harm. Brienne asked Renly. Done. Rise, Brienne of the Kingsguard. Renly said as he and everyone else clapped. Brienne then stood up and moved to the side as Naruto nodded to the soldier to tell Renly they were here. Your Grace. I have the honor to bring you Lord Naruto Uzumaki, Lord Regent and Protector of the Realm. And Lady Catelyn Stark, sent as an envoy by her son, Robb Lord of Winterfell. The soldier said as he walked up to Renly and Naruto and Kat walked up behind him. Lord of Winterfell, and King in the North. Catelyn added. Naruto, Lady Catelyn. I'm pleased to see you too. May I present my wife, Marjorie of House Tyrell? Renly said as Marjorie looked at Naruto and was surprised at how handsome he was. An honor, Lady Tyrell. Naruto said as he and Kat bowed in respect. You are very welcome here, Lord Naruto, Lady Stark. I'm so sorry for your losses. Marjorie said. You are most kind. Catelyn said. My lady, I swear to you, I will see the Lannisters answer for your husband's death. When we win this war is over, I will bring you Tywin Lannister's head. Renly said as his troops cheered. It will be enough to know that justice was done, my lord. Cat said. Your Grace. Brienne told him. And you both should kneel when you approach the king. There's no need for that. Lady Stark is an honored guest. And Naruto is serving as ruling regent of King's Landing. He has no need to kneel. Renly said as Naruto nodded. Has your son marched against Tywin Lannister yet? Loras asked Catelyn. I do not sit on my husband's war councils. And if I did, I would not share his strategies with you. Cat said. If Robb Stark wants a pact with us, he should come himself. Not hide behind his mother's skirts. Loras said. My son is fighting a war, not playing at one. Cat said as Naruto chuckled. Renly then got up and walked down to the two of them. Don't worry, my lady. Our war is just beginning. Renly said as he and Naruto quickly shared a hug and the three left, with Marjorie taking one more glance at Naruto before they departed. Renly walked Naruto and Cat through his camp as his men were hard at work at their chores or labors. Brienne walked up behind them as her new job on his King's Guard had started. I must say, Renly, you've done quite well here. Naruto said as Renly smiled. I have 100,000 men at my command. All the might of the Stormlands and the Reach. Renly said. And all of them, young and bold like your Knight of Flowers. Cat said. It's a game to you, isn't it? I pity them. Why? Renly asked. Because it won't last. Because they are the Knights of Summer and winter is coming. Cat told him. Brienne. Escort Lady Catelyn to her tent, she's tired from her journey. Naruto and I shall conduct business. Renly said. At once, Your Grace. Brienne said as she escorted Cat away while Renly and Naruto went to Renly's tent to talk. Well, I can see the months have been kind to you, Naruto. Renly said as he handed a cup of wine to Naruto. In all honesty, it wasn't something I planned on doing. Naruto said as Renly chuckled. Naruto, I am sorry about what happened to Ned. Perhaps if I had stayed behind, and it's alright, Renly. There's no point in trying to argue about how to change the past. All that matters is that we don't make the same mistakes in the future. Naruto said as Renly smiled. So, have you decided to stand down and let me rule as king? Renly asked. No, actually that was something I wanted to talk to you about. With the war against the Lannisters, the attacks against King's Landing and Stannis now declaring himself king, I felt that it would be best that until the war with the Lannisters is resolved, then I shall name a new king. Naruto said as Renly was a little upset. Why not name me now? We can resolve this whole mat right now. You know what I'm like. I will be a great king and Stannis is, well Stannis, but he isn't king material, we both know this and Ned knew this but was dead set on the bloody line of succession enough. Naruto said, getting Renly to stop whining like a brat. The reason why I am waiting is that if I name you king now, Stannis will have a complete reason to attack King's Landing and kill any person that gets in his way until he gets what he wants. Naruto said as Renly calmed down and began to understand. I have to try diplomacy first. I still have to talk to Stannis and Robb and resolve this whole situation where the kingdom will be put in a war with dire consequences. Renly was reluctant but Naruto did seem to make sense. Alright, we'll do it your way. Renly said. Deep in the castle of the Iron Islands, Theon had taken a ship back to his home after years in the north. He arrived back home because Robb sent him there to ask his father if they would be willingly to work out a treaty that if Balon gave Robb the use of his ships to take Casterly Rock, the Greyjoys could have it. Balon discarded the treaty, saying that a boy cannot make him a king for he will become one. Theon and his sister, Yara, were waiting in the main council room as their father walked in to tell them of his plan to initiate his rebellion plan he started years ago that was foiled. The plans are made, it's time you heard them. Balon said as he walked in. Father. Theon and Yara said as Balon walked to the map on the table. The wolf pup has gone south, with the entirety of the northern army at his back. While he's tangling with the lion in the Westerlands, the north is ripe for the taking. The Ironborn will reave and pillage as it did in the old age all along the northern coast. We spread out along the Greenlands, securing the neck and everything above. Every stronghold will yield to us, one by one. Winterfell may defy us for a year, but what of it? The rest shall be ours, forests, fields, and hall. Balan said, determined to relive the old days of his rebellion before he was crushed. Yara, my daughter, you will take 30 longships to attack Deepwood Motte. Balan told her. I always wanted a castle. Yara said. And what's my role in all this? Theon asked. You'll take a ship to raid the fishing villages on the stony shore. Balan told Theon. A ship? Theon asked. You give her 30 and I get one, the sea bitch. We thought she'd be perfect for you. Yara said. I'm to fight fishermen? Theon asked. Be careful of their nets. Yara joked as Theon moved to his father's side. Father, I fought with Robb Stark, I know his men. He won't give up the north so easily. Theon told Balan. They won't even know we're there. Yara said. What do you know of it, woman? Theon yelled at her. I'm a proven warrior. Your brothers were warriors. Both of them dead, at the hands of those so eager you seem to protect. Balan said. I'm not protecting anyone. I just wonder if it's not wiser to wait. Why risk going against the North if they will be our allies? Rise up against them and they could destroy us. But, if we pledge fealty to them, they'll give us Casterly Rock. Theon told his father. What are our words? Our words. Balan asked Theon. We do not so, Theon said. We do not so, we are iron-born. We're not subjects, we're not slaves, we do not plow the fields or toil in the mines, we take what is ours. Your time with the wolves has made you weak. Balan said. You act as if I volunteered to go. You gave me away if you remember. The day you bent the knee to Robert Baratheon, after he crushed you. Did he take what was yours then? Theon said as his father was angered by the insults and slapped him hard across the face. His father left for the door as Theon yelled at him. You gave me away. Your boy. Your last boy. You gave me away like I was some dog you didn't want anymore. And now you curse me, because I've come home. Theon yelled as his father ignored him and left. You'd have our father bowed down to your other family? Yara asked Theon as if he were a traitor. I have no other family. Theon said. Don't you? Make your choice, Theon, and do it quickly. Our ships sail with or without you. Yara said as she left, leaving a conflicted Theon. In the shadows of the room, one of Naruto's clones heard the whole thing. He felt sorry for Theon, being put in that kind of situation with a father and sister who treated him like garbage. Naruto didn't have any bad blood with Theon, he was friends with Robb and Naruto knew he was a good man, he just needed some guidance. Back in Lannisport, Tyrion was at work writing a letter to Naruto about the discussions for peace, to stop the bloodshed. Tyrion was working hard on making sure that what he wrote down would at least get Naruto to consider to talk about the idea. Naruto held bad blood with Tyrion's family and Tyrion couldn't blame him. His sister had his father figure killed and Jaime tried to kill him, not to mention that Tywin sent soldiers to kill him as well. But Tyrion knew what kind of man Naruto was, he was a decisive, passionate, kind yet strong and relentless. If Naruto joined Robb Stark in the war, the Lannisters would most definitely lose. The only thing that kept Naruto out of it was the safety of King's Landing and his other duties as regent, and he didn't have an army yet, but that fox of his was deadlier. Tyrion was looking at the current draft he had written in his office. Cersei was with Joffrey trying to keep him occupied while Tyrion worked. He had yet to know that Tyrion was Lord of Lannisport and that Joffrey, as of the moment, had no power. She wanted to keep him out of the loop to prevent any more whining. Tyrion was trying to look over his draft as he saw Shae, his current girlfriend, walk around the room, bored. You won't let me leave this room, you won't let me shh, keep your voice down. Tyrion told her. Why? You think your father can hear me? He's in another city. Shae yelled out in frustration. I don't intend for you to stay here. I might be able to bring you into the kitchens. Again, only temporary. Tyrion said. Every man who has tasted my cooking has told me what a good whore I am. Shae said. Well, you wouldn't be a cook. You'd pose as a scullion. Tyrion said as Shae was confused. Scullion, what is a scullion? Shae asked. Kitchen wench. Tyrion said. A kitchen wench? Shae asked. Yes, but only to keep you alive. We've come to a dangerous place. My sister and nephew will do anything to get the throne back, while my job is to try and negotiate peace. It doesn't help that I'm now Lord of Lannisport for the time being. They will do whatever they can to get ahead of me and take power. My sister wants to hurt me, and she will look for any weakness she can find. Tyrion told her. I'm the weakness? Shae asked. It's a compliment, my lady. You are the one thing that can bring me from my other duties, and that is a weakness itself. Tyrion joked as Shae started to smile. How long must I stay hidden? Shae asked. Only temporary. Once I send the message to King's Landing about talking for peace, perhaps Naruto will at least talk to me about the idea. If he can, that will be one less thing that I will have to worry about, making you my priority. Tyrion said with a smile. He just hoped that Naruto would at least talk it out. Back in the Stormlands, night had settled as Naruto was in a tent provided for him by Renly. He moved Kurama inside as the two rested and ate some food. Naruto was also planning out some strategies to deal with the Lannisters' home city at Casterly Rock. It was very well defended, and if they had control over the sea, then Robb was at a disadvantage. Naruto was momentarily distracted when he thought about Marjorie but quickly regained focus. Kurama chuckled as he knew what Naruto was thinking about. Meanwhile, Renly was in his tent, yet not with his wife, but Loras, his lover. The two were in bed together, but Loras was still angry over what happened before about the fight with Brienne. What? Renly asked. A member of the King's Guard? As if I wasn't humiliated enough already. Loras said. Brienne is a very capable warrior. And she's devoted to me. Renly said as he saw Loras's reaction. You're jealous. Jealous. Of Brienne the beauty, don't make me laugh. Loras said. I'll make it up to you. Renly said. Your Grace, not tonight. There's another Tyrell that requires your attention. You didn't win my father's support or army on charm alone. Loras said as he grabbed his clothes. Renly tried to kiss him, but Loras stopped him. Your vassals are starting to snigger behind your back. Brides aren't usually virgins 2 weeks after their wedding night. Ha, and Marjorie's a virgin? Renly joked. Officially. Shall I bring her to you? Loras said as he got up and left. Renly put on a shirt and drank some wine as Marjorie walked in wearing a nightgown. I should warn you, I've had quite a bit of wine. Renly said to Marjorie. As is your right, you are a king. Marjorie said. You look very beautiful. Renly said. Thank you, Your Grace. Marjorie said. That's a lovely gown. Renly said. You think so? I can't decide how I like it better. This way, or? Marjorie said as she removed the top part to reveal her breasts. This way. You certainly don't need it. Renly said, trying to get aroused by her. Marjorie walked up to Renly and kissed him, undoing the strings on his shirt as Renly tried to kiss back but was unaroused and unattracted to her. Renly separated from her, having felt no reaction from her, and sighed his head. Do you want my brother to come and help? Marjorie asked, shocking Renly. What? Renly asked. Or he could get you started. I know he wouldn't mind. Or I could turn over and you could pretend I'm him. Marjorie said. I don't know what you're talking about. Renly said. There's no need for us to play games. Save your lies for court, you're going to need a lot of them. Marjorie said as she sat on the bed next to him. Your enemies are not happy about us. They want to tear us apart, and the best way to stop them is to put your baby in my belly. You can try again later. You decide how you want to do it, with me and Loras or whoever else you like. Whatever you need to do. You are a king. Marjorie said as she kissed his head, grabbed her top and left. She put on a coat as she walked back to her tent. She walked by soldiers who were on guard and men walking to their tents. She then saw a figure by himself, staring at the moon. She walked towards the figure to see it was Naruto, the ruling regent and, as of the moment, ruler of Westeros. He seemed to have a peaceful look on his face and she blushed as she saw the moonlight shine on him, like it would a hero from an old tale. Naruto then felt he was being watched and turned to see Marjorie. Lady Marjorie, apologies. I didn't know you were there. Naruto said as he bowed. The fault is mine. You seemed busy and I didn't mean to interrupt you. Marjorie said. Oh no. I'm not busy. Just clearing my head. Naruto said. Oh, is your tent not comfortable? If you want, I could have some men find a better tent. It's not that, but thank you, Lady Marjorie. Naruto said, stopping her. Just Marjorie, please. She said. Marjorie. It's not the tent. It's perfect and thank you again for the hospitality. Naruto said. Then why are you out here? She asked. For some peace. I've always been fond of nature, it soothes me. Whenever I've been stressed or worried, some peaceful meditation always relaxes me. Naruto said as Marjorie smiled. I would imagine that ruling King's Landing has been stressful. Marjorie said. Not as much as you think. I've had some help and the city is thriving more by the day. And the people are happy, which is the most important. Naruto said as smiled at Marjorie and she saw an unusual flower pinned to his cloak. What is that flower? I'm not familiar with it. Marjorie said, interested in the beauty of the flower. It was a rose-shaped flower but the petals were a combination of blue, white and purple, spinning out from the center like a tornado or whirlpool of colors. This is a new flower, actually. Something I made called the whirlpool flower because of how the colors of the petals spin like a whirlpool. Let me show you. Naruto said as Marjorie got close. She saw him take a seed and put it in the ground. Usually, a flower takes its time to grow and blossom. The petals open as the seasons change. But, when one is close to nature, and asks. Naruto said as he used a little churka and touched the ground, causing the seed to grow and a fully bloomed whirlpool flower came out of the ground. Naruto then plucked the flower out of the ground and held it up. Nature answers. Naruto said with a smile as Marjorie was amazed. A flower grown in a matter of seconds. She looked at the beauty of the flower and then noticed that Naruto was smiling at her and she blushed. Incredible. Marjorie said. A gift. A lady of the flowers should have one as beautiful as her. Naruto said as he handed it to her. Now I would suggest that we both return to our tents and get some sleep. I fear that tomorrow will bring many new things. Naruto said as he and Marjorie went to their tents. Marjorie smiled at the flower and felt her heart skip a beat. Back with Theon on the Iron Islands, he was in the middle of a dilemma. He came home only to be treated like a relative who was not welcome. His father despises him and his sister thinks he's an idiot and a fool. Theon's father would not accept the alliance treaty and his father expected him to fight on his family's side, like a Greyjoy should, but be treated like an outsider. He felt more at home and respected back in Winterfell. He was looking over the letter he wrote to send to Robb, telling him what Balon had planned but was contemplating on if he should send it or side with his father. Theon decided to go with the side that he felt more at home and that was with the Starks. He sealed the letter and packed his things. Well done, Theon. Theon heard and saw Naruto come out from the shadows. Naruto? But you're supposed to be in King's Landing. Theon said. I'm a clone. I had one made to watch over your family should they try and double-cross Robb and I was right. I was also right about you, you made the right decision. Naruto said with a smile. There is no decision when it comes to family. Theon said as Naruto smiled. Good. We need to get back and tell Robb. Are you packed? Naruto asked. Yes, everything is ready. But how are we going to get back? We'll surely be spotted. Theon said. No, we won't. Hold your breath and bend your knees. Naruto said as he touched Theon's shoulder and the two Hiroshined back to Winterfell. Theon was a bit nauseous, but it would pass. Don't worry, everyone feels like that their first time. Anyway, send a raven to Robb and organize whatever men you can spare to fight back. I have some clones here, so they should help in the defense. Good luck. Naruto said as the clone dispelled and Theon ran inside to meet with Bran and Maester Luwin. Line break XXXXX. Back in the Riverlands, Robb had won another battle against the Lannisters, on their way to Casterly Rock. The Stark soldiers were scavenging weapons, armor and other helpful items from the battlefield as medics tended the wounded. Robb and his bannermen were walking on the battlefield as Lord Bolton told Robb of the men killed or wounded. 5 Lannisters dead for every one of ours. We've nowhere to keep all these prisoners. Barely enough food to feed our own. Bolton said, "We're not executing prisoners, Lord Bolton. I received a raven from King's Landing and Naruto said he was sending down wagons of food to us as long as we fight. They should be here by tomorrow." Robb said, "Of course, Your Grace. The officers could prove useful. Some of them may be privy to Tywin Lannister's plans." Bolton said, "I doubt it." Robb said, "Well, we'll learn so enough. In my family we say, a naked man has few secrets, a flayed man none." Bolton told Robb, "My father outlawed flaying in the north." Robb told Bolton, "We're not in the north." Bolton replied, "We're not torturing them." Robb said, "The high road's very pretty, but you'll have a hard time marching your army down it." Bolton said, "Naruto once told me that when you fight a battle or war, your enemy will do things you consider horrible. You can win a war, but if you become your enemy, you've won nothing. I will not become the very men we fight. The prisoners remain alive and unspoiled." Robb said as Lord Bolton reluctantly nodded. Robb then helps a soldier who was injured in battle and met a woman, Talisa of Volantis. Robb was instantly smitten, but he had other concerns as he got word that a raven from Winterfell had come for him. Back in Lannisport, Joffrey had taken over one of the main halls and had men redecorate it to act as his throne for Lannisport. Joffrey was still a smug son of a bitch and he was enjoying his free time, punishing men and women while his family was fighting a war. News came that the Lannisters lost another battle and Joffrey was spending his time torturing and beating the peasants. Just before he could fire a crossbow bolt at a peasant girl, Tyrion barged into the room. "What is the meaning of this?" Tyrion yelled as everyone grew silent and watched as Tyrion, Bronn, and some of the city guard walked into the hall. Joffrey was angry that his attention was gone. "Someone get the girl something to cover herself with," Tyrion said as the Hound took his cloak and wrapped it around the girl. "What is wrong with you? What kind of boy threatens innocent girls?" Tyrion asked, outraged. "I'm punishing her," Joffrey said. "For what?" "She's not fighting in the war, you halfwit," Tyrion said. "You can't talk to me like that, the king can do as he likes." Joffrey yelled, "You are no king, nor are you a prince. Just a boy who thinks himself one." Tyrion said, "Shut up. I am king and what I say is law. Men, kill him," Joffrey ordered as the city guard didn't move. "Kill him. Your king commands it. Like I said, you are no king. Me on the other hand, I am ruler and lord of Lannisport while your grandfather is fighting the war, which gives me all the power. Men, take Joffrey to his room and don't let him out unless I say so," Tyrion said as the city guards grabbed Joffrey and escorted him out of the hall. "You can't do this to me. I am the king. My mother will have your head for this." Joffrey yelled like a baby as he was dragged away. "Oh, what a spoiled brat," Tyrion said as he helped the girl off the ground and took her someplace safe. Back in the Stormlands, Naruto was waiting outside Renly's tent. Naruto wanted to speak with him and Caitlyn to talk about what he learned from Theon. Kat arrived, but Renly was late. They then saw him walking towards the tent with Brienne and some other guards behind him. "Sorry I'm late. Some matters lasted longer than I expected," Renly said as he and Brienne walked in. "Next time, at least send a messenger. I've been waiting for over an hour." "A king would not make his friends wait," Naruto told Renly. "I thought a king could do as he likes." Renly said, "True, a king can, but a wise king would rethink his actions and try not to be late," Naruto said as Renly nodded. "Naruto, what matters need our attention?" Kat asked. "Some disconcerting news. I had a clone head to the Iron Islands after Theon was sent over to negotiate a possible alliance with his father. Negotiations turned sour as Lord Balon is dead set on restarting his conquest that was stopped years ago by Robert and Ned. Naruto told them. I should have known. I told Rob never to trust a Greyjoy. Kat said. The Greyjoys, yes, but Theon can be trusted. He holds no more love for the father and family that casted him out. I have Theon working with Rob and what remains of the men at Winterfell to prepare against the attacks on Deepwood Motte. Naruto said as he showed them on the map. And the stony shore. The Greyjoys have always been a problem since my brother stopped them years ago. Now they're using the war to restart their rebellion. Renly said. And it would have worked. Robb is busy fighting the Lannisters near the Riverlands and is continuing to push to Casterly Rock and Lannisport. This leaves the North vulnerable and weak for an attack. Lucky enough, the Greyjoys don't know what I'm capable of. Naruto said as Kat and Renly smiled. It's a good thing that you did find out. Now, we can stop the Greyjoys from advancing north. Kat said. We will stop them, but they won't give up. As long as the war continues, Balon Greyjoy will not stop. He sees this as the perfect opportunity to take over. Everyone would be focuses on the war and he could slip right through and take what he wants. Naruto said. Traitorous Greyjoys. Renly said. Robert should have killed them years ago. Well, now that we know what they're planning, we can prepare. We can stop them from getting a solid foot on land. We keep them away, they can't move north. But they still have the superior fleet and numbers with Robb fighting. Which brings up another issue. The Greyjoys will know that Theon is not on their side, and now that their plans are known, they will find new allies. Naruto said, pointing to Casterly Rock. Do you think that the Greyjoys would go the Lannisters for aid? They're stubborn, think themselves rulers and conquerors, they don't work well with others. Kat said. War has the tendency to bring enemies together. But should the Lannisters decide to work with the Greyjoys, Robb will be outnumbered. They will tighten their hold on the eastern coast, and since the north don't really have ships, Robb will be at a disadvantage. I haven't amassed a large enough force to aid Robb yet, and the ships I have would take months to get into position. Naruto said as Renly received a letter from a messenger. It seems we will have more issues. My brother Stannis is coming tomorrow to discuss terms of our fealty to him. As if. Renly said. Ugh, I can feel the migraines coming. Naruto said as Renly chuckled. Naruto, you know I've always been fond of you. We've been friends for a long time and I have cherished that, which is why I agreed on your decision to wait until the war is over for a king to be crowned. But my brother is less amicable. He will demand that you immediately give up your position of protector of the realm and make him king. We both know Stannis isn't right for the kingdom. Renly said as Kat looked at Naruto, who was thinking, believe me, I know. I just hope I am able to convince him to at least work with us to fight the war. If not. Naruto said. If not what? Kat asked. Then the war has only just begun. Naruto said. Well, we have time to prepare. Stannis arrived tomorrow, so tonight, we relax. Renly said as he left for his tent. Naruto just shrugged his shoulders and took Kat back to her tent. Naruto was walking through the camp, looking at the soldiers who nodded to him as he passed, and Naruto did the same. As he was walking through the camp, Marjorie was talking with her brother as the two departed. Marjorie saw Naruto walking and walked up to him. Naruto. Marjorie said. Marjorie, hello. How can I help you? Naruto asked. I would just like to thank you for the flower. It is most exquisite. Marjorie said. You are very welcome. Naruto said. If it's not too much to ask. Perhaps we could arrange a trade for more of your seeds to Highgarden. Marjorie asked him. An agreement can be met. Your family has been most generous during my time at King's Landing, and I would be happy to return the favor. Naruto said as Marjorie smiled. Thank you. Marjorie said. My pleasure. Naruto said as he decided to ask her a question. Marjorie, if I may, might I ask you a question? I believe you already did. Marjorie joked. But yes, what would you like to know? If my question offends, then by all means, feel no need to answer it. But Renly is my friend and I am happy for you too, but given Renly and his preferences towards others, I find it interesting of your marriage. Naruto said as Marjorie looked at him. Again, I mean no offense, I wish you both happiness, but in my experience, a relationship where the love of one is set on someone else, the relationship does not last, or even start in my case. Naruto said. Speaking from experience, Naruto? Have you fallen in love with someone who did not feel the same? Marjorie asked. Yes, twice, I'm afraid. One girl I was madly in love with when I was a child and tried to gain her affections, but her heart was set on someone else. Naruto said, remembering his childhood attempts to get Sakura to notice him. And the other? Marjorie asked. She was in love with me, yet too shy to admit it. As time went on, she did tell me how she felt. Naruto said, remembering Hinata and the time she confessed she loved him. And what happened? Marjorie asked as she saw Naruto was trying to figure out what to say. Circumstances prevented me from expressing how I felt about her. Unfortunately, I will never get to tell her now. Naruto said. Is she dead? Marjorie asked. No, not dead. Just far away. Naruto said. Well, Naruto, I am sorry for you, but for me it is quite simple. My husband is my king, and my king is my husband. Marjorie said as Naruto nodded and the two parted ways. Meanwhile, across the narrow sea in the land of Essos, one individual made his way to the new continent and was looking for someone. The figure was disguised in black cloak and hood. He arrived on a ship to Essos and made his way to the Dothraki Sea. The figure moved from settlements to towns and cities, asking information about where he might find the person he's looking for. The figure was riding a horse as he came across the very spot that was going to help him. The figure got off his horse, he landed on the ground, showing his dark orange and black pants and boots. He had a belt with a sword attached, a knife, pouches and headband with a weird leaf as the buckle. He had a bow and quiver of arrows on his back as his face was obscured by his black hood and face mask that covered everything from the eyes down. The figure looked around, saw the tracks of tents and fire pits that were previously used. He also saw the burned wood and ash of a large pyre that was set up. He saw two skeletons, both burned to a crisp, and pieces of cloth. The figure knelt down as he inspected the cloth and saw the charred pieces of cloth, but he was still able to see that whatever cloth it was, it belonged to a woman. The cloth was most likely silk or some type of fabric like that. The figure also saw what looked like cracked egg shells. The figure pulled his hood off and lowered his mask to reveal it was Naruto, well, one of Naruto's clones. Naruto sent a chakra-infused clone to Essos to do some recon on the last Targaryens. Viserys was dead, which meant that Daenerys was the only one remaining. When Naruto arrived, he asked around and followed the Dothraki trail of Khal Drogo until his death. Now he was tracking Daenerys, who he was most likely sure was still alive. He then saw footprints walking towards the Red Waste. Naruto took a drink of water as he looked to the vast desert that was before him. Wonder where she was planning on going? Naruto asked as he got back on his horse and rode into the waste and followed the tracks. Daenerys and her group had made camp while she sent out 3 riders to find help and supplies. The first 2 didn't get anything as their heads were sent back as a warning. Now they wondered what happened to the 3rd rider. They heard a horse galloping up to them and got up to see the 3rd rider return, but on a different horse. This isn't your horse, Daenerys said to him. It was given to me by the 13. The elders of Qarth. The rider said. Qarth? Daenerys asked. 3 days to the east, on the sea. The rider said. Will they let us in? She asked. They said they would be honored to receive the Mother of Dragons. The rider said as he got the pouches of water he was given and handed them out. What do you know of this place? Daenerys asked Mormont. Only that the desert surrounding their walls is called the Garden of Bones. Every time the Qarthians shut their gate on a traveler, the garden grows. Yora told her as she needed to make a decision. Daenerys ultimately decided to visit Qarth and hoped that they would help her. She and her group traveled the Red Waste until they came upon the city of Qarth and saw the mighty walls that kept it safe. The gates of Qarth opened as soldiers walked out in front with the nobles behind. Daenerys turned to Yora. I thought we were welcome. Daenerys said. If you heard a Dothraki horde was approaching your city, you might do the same, Khaleesi. Yora told her. Horde? She said, looking at the few dozen people she had with her. The soldiers stopped as the 13 of Karth walked out with the most powerful and wealthiest ahead. "My name is Daenerys Stormborn of the House Targaryen," said one of the fat nobles. "You know me, my lord?" Daenerys asked. "Only by reputation, Khaleesi. And I'm no lord. Merely a humble merchant." "They call you the Mother of Dragons," the merchant said. "And what should I call you?" Daenerys asked. "Oh, my name is quite long and impossible for foreigners to pronounce. I am simply a trader of spices. But we are the 13. Charged with the protection and governance of Karth, the greatest city that ever was, or will be." The Spice King said. "Might we see the dragons?" Daenerys looked at the cages she had and knew they were too small. "My friend, we have traveled very far. We have no food, no water. Once I see my people fed, I would be honored. Forgive me, Mother of Dragons. But no man alive has seen a living dragon. Some of my more skeptical friends refuse to believe your children even exist. All we ask is the chance to see for ourselves." The Spice King said. "I am not a liar." Daenerys said. "Oh, I don't think you are. But as I have never met you before, my opinion on the matter is of limited value." The Spice King said. "Where I come from, guests are treated with respect and not insulted at the gates." Daenerys told him. "Then perhaps you should return to where you come from. We wish you well." The Spice King said as he walked back as Daenerys walked forward. "What are you doing?" she asked. "You promised to receive me. We have received you. Here we are, and here you are." The Spice King said. Daenerys was outraged at the disrespect, and as she and the Spice King traded words, a hooded Naruto was watching from afar on a nearby sand dune. He used a scope to see Daenerys arguing with the 13 of Karth to be let in. Then one man came forward and vouched for her. Naruto wanted to hear what they were saying and focused chakra to his senses, mainly his ears, to see if he could pick up what they were saying. He only got a few words, but the man Zarozo Daxos, a merchant, vouched for her and committed a blood oath so that she and her followers could be let in. Naruto saw the gates to the city open and watched as Daenerys walked in. Naruto quickly put his scope away, shot a Hyrule arrow over the wall and into the city and flashed to it. He needed to watch over her. She wasn't a threat. Just a girl who wanted to go home. Back in the Stormlands, a new day had come as Renly, with Kat and Naruto, rode off to meet Stannis on neutral ground, near where Stannis had his ships anchored. Naruto decided to bring Kurama with him, which would be helpful if something went wrong. He even had one of the banners made for him attached to Kurama's saddle, to symbolize Naruto's rule as regent. Renly, Kat and the Kingsguard were on horses as they saw Naruto ride up with them, on the back of the ferocious fox, the animal that was the guardian of King's Landing. "Wow," Renly said. "I know. He's just that awesome," Naruto said as he pats Kurama on the head. "Well, let's not keep your brother waiting." They rode to the meeting where they saw Stannis, Melisandre and his personal guard there waiting for them. They had his banners, which was a crowned stag in a red heart on fire. When Stannis saw Renly ride up, he saw his little brother had a crown on his head and shook his head at his brother's arrogance. He then saw the fox and the current regent, Naruto Uzumaki. Melisandre told him he was the enemy and that Stannis was destined to kill him, and he would if he didn't hand over the throne. He then saw Catelyn Stark, which was surprising. "Lady Stark, I did not expect to find you in the Stormlands," Stannis said. "I had not thought to be here, Lord Stannis." Kat said. "Can that truly be you?" Renly asked. "Who else might it be?" Stannis replied. "When I saw your standard, I couldn't be sure." "Whose banner is that?" Renly asked. "My own." Stannis told him. "Suppose if we used the same one, the battle would be terribly confusing." "Why is your stag on fire?" Renly asked. "The king has taken for his sigil the fiery heart of the Lord of Light." Melisandre said. "Ah, you must be this fire priestess we hear so much about." Brother, now I understand why you found religion in your old age." Renly said. "Watch yourself, Renly." Stannis said. No, I'm relieved." Never really believed you were a fanatic. Charmless, rigid, a bore, yes, but not a godly man. Renly joked. Enough, Renly. Naruto told him as Stannis looked at Naruto. You must be Naruto Uzumaki. Stannis said. An honor to meet you in person, Lord Stannis. Naruto said with a nod as Stannis just looked at him. I hope you're here to hand over the throne to me so this can all be done with now. Stannis said. Apologies, Lord Stannis, but that is not why I'm here. I have decided not to name a king until the war with the Lannisters is resolved and I can speak with Robb Stark of his desire for northern separation. Naruto told him. That's good and all, but the throne is mine, by right. As regent you rule over until an heir is ready, and I am. Stannis said. Your friend Ned Stark knew I was next in line, yet you would dishonor his wish. I am not dishonoring Ned. Naruto told Stannis, insulted that he would say that. Ned also left me as regent with the control to decide the rightful heir when I say so. And I decided to wait. He is the king, the Lord of Light commands it. Melisandre said. He is no king. He has not been crowned and he is not sitting on the throne just yet. Naruto said. Of course, you would say that. You are the pawn of the Lord of Nothing, and will keep Stannis from throne because you are the enemy. Melisandre said as Naruto narrowed her eyes at her. Hand over the crown, boy. You've had your fun, now let a true man rule. Stannis said, insulting Naruto. I would advise you to watch your tone, and speak to me with respect. Naruto warned Stannis. Why? Because you're a lord of a made-up house. You are not fit to be regent, you're just a boy who made friends with the right people. Stannis insulted Naruto as Kurama roared, causing everyone's horses to back away frightened, as well as the men. Even Stannis and Melisandre were a little taken back. Watch who you talk to like that. Kurama warned him with a growl, showing his sharp teeth. A king would consider it idiotic to insult the current ruler of King's Landing. Insanity to insult him in front of the ferocious fox. I guess you are not a king after all. Naruto told Stannis. The crown is mine by right. All those who deny it to me are my enemies. Stannis said, putting up the brave disguise. The whole realm denies it from Dorne to the Wall. Old men deny it with their death rattle, and unborn children deny it in their mother's wombs. No one wants you for their king. You've never had any friends, brother. But a man without friends is a man without power. Renly said. As an act of kindness, I'll give you this night to reconsider. Surrender yourselves and crown me king and I shall let you live. If you don't, I'll destroy you. Stannis said. Good luck with that. Naruto told him as Stannis and his group left. Look to your sins, you too. For the night is dark and full of terrors. Melisandre said to Renly and Naruto. Kurama growled at her as they left. Back in Lannisport, Tyrion was in his study, looking over some papers that he was given on the various issues he needed to consider and work on as acting Lord of Lannisport. Various complaints and issues of the lack of food the refugees were getting and more were protesting in anger. Some even have left Lannisport to travel to King's Landing and side with Naruto than be with the Lannisters, and Tyrion couldn't fault them for that. He then heard a knock on his door and opened it to reveal his cousin, Lancel Lannister, now an anointed knight. Your visits are too few, cousins. Tyrion said. Her Grace, Cersei, demands you to release Joffrey at once. Lancel told him. Very well, will you share a cup with me? I find that mulled wine helps me sleep. Tyrion said. I'm here at Her Grace's behest, not here to share a drink with you, imp. Lancel said as he was going to leave, but Tyrion spoke. If my sister was so concerned with Joffrey, I thought she would come herself. Instead she sends you. What am I to make of that? Tyrion asked. I don't care what you make of it, so long as you release your nephew immediately. Lancel said. And you received these instructions directly from Cersei? Tyrion asked. As I said several times. Lancel told him as he walked into his study. And you waited this long to deliver this information? Tyrion asked as Lancel was confused. When Her Grace gives me a command, I follow it without delay. Lancel said. Cersei must have great trust in you. Allowing you into her chamber, during the hour of the wolf. Tyrion said, as he knew the connection between Lancel and Cersei. Her Grace has a great many responsibilities. She often works from dusk till dawn. Lancel said, she must be very glad to have you helping her. From dusk till dawn. Ah, lavender oil. She always loved lavender oil even as a girl. Tyrion said, I am a knight. Lancel said, an anointed knight, yes. Tell me, did Cersei have you knighted, before or after she took you into her bed? Tyrion asked as Lancel tried to say something. What, nothing to say. No more warnings for me, sir. You would draw these filthy accusations. Have you given any thought to what Joffrey would have to say when he finds out you are bedding his mother? Tyrion asked. It wasn't my fault. Lancel asked. And should Naruto listen to my treaty I sent him, and should he get Jaime a brief reprieve to come home to stand trial, how do you think my brother would react? Tyrion said as Lancel became frantic. Do you want me to prevent that? Yes, my lord. I will do anything. I will leave the city if I have to. Lancel said. No, you won't. I want you to stay close to my sister. Listen to her, find out where she goes, who she sees, what they talk of, everything. And you will tell me. Tyrion told him. Yes, my lord. I swear it, as you command. Lancel said. Oh, rise, rise. Let us have a drink, oh right. You should be heading back. Tell my sister, I will release Joffrey in the morning. I can tell her that I didn't harm a hair on his head, but strictly speaking that wouldn't be true. Tyrion told him as Lancel left. Back in King's Landing, Naruto's clone was busy at work, going through the papers and monitoring the kingdom. He received a letter from the Martells. Now that the Lannisters were not in King's Landing, they would like to meet. Naruto replied and told them he would welcome them during a time that was more appropriate. With the war going on, it wasn't the best idea. He also received a letter from Tyrion. Naruto was glad he was alive. Tyrion was a good man, much more so than the rest of his family. Tyrion's letter wished Naruto the best of luck as ruling regent, but then got to the main point. Naruto, I wish you the best of luck in ruling King's Landing. I will never forget how you won me my freedom back in the Vale, and for that I can never thank you enough. But unfortunately, this letter comes with an ulterior motive. I wish to express the desire to speak out terms of peace for you and my family. I know that my brother and my sister have done wrongs by you and the Starks, and I cannot excuse those actions, but I wish to stop the bloodshed and the deaths of innocent men, women and children. I know you cannot speak for the Starks, but my family would like to discuss terms of peace, to prevent any more lives being lost. I know you have bad feelings towards my family and I understand that, but I only wish to talk to you about at least discussing the idea. Please send a raven with your response. Your friend, Tyrion. Tyrion was right in his thinking. The Lannisters did have to answer for their crimes, but Myrcella and Tommen, and the other innocent people did not need to die. As a gesture of good faith, he would meet with Tyrion, but he also wanted to meet with Lord Tywin, to discuss the terms. Naruto summoned another clone and dispelled so that the real Naruto got the information. Back with Stannis, he was standing on his ship as he looked out into the night and looked at the cliffs of Storm's End. Ser Davos walked onto the ship to see Stannis looking out to the cliffs. Your Grace, Davos said as Stannis looked at him, do your knuckle bones bring you luck? Stannis asked as Stannis looked at them. Not actually, since you hacked them off, Your Grace. And it's 4 less fingernails to clean. Stannis said. Fewer. Stannis said. Pardon. Davos replied. For fewer fingernails to clean. I never understood why you had to wear them. Stannis said. It reminds me of where I've come from to where I am now. It reminds me of your justice. It was an honest punishment and you were good with a cleaver. Davos said. You were a hero and a smuggler. The good act does not wash out the bad. Nor the bad the good. Stannis said. A lesson I'll try to teach my son. Davos said. Does he listen? Stannis asked. To me, gods no. But if your red woman told him to leap from the crow's nest, she has a name. Stannis told him. I trust you've not forgotten your smuggler's tricks. I want you to be a smuggler this time. Stannis told him. Any shore, any night. What am I bringing ashore? Davos asked. The Red Woman. No one must know what you do, and will not speak of this again. Stannis told him. I will always serve you, always. But surely there are other ways, cleaner ways don't win wars. Stannis told him. Davos reluctantly nodded and did as he was told. He got a small boat and rowed him and the Red Woman across the water to the beach at Storm's End. There Davos takes her to some caves located near Renly's camp, caves he remembers from his smuggling days. They walk through the cave but see that metal bars have blocked further entry to the land. These bars weren't here last time. They've barred the passage. Davos said. They can't bar our passage. Melisandre said as she removes her robes and Davos sees that she is very pregnant, nearly ready to give birth, but to what? There is only one God, Ser Davos. And he only protects those who serve him. She said as she lanterns, they have burned brighter and filled the cave. Melisandre then sat on the ground as she bathed in the light and her stomach began to move, as something was coming out. Ser Davos watched in horror as he saw a shadow expelled itself from her body. The shadow took the form of a hand and pulled itself out, taking the form and build of a man but was pure darkness, a shadow demon. Melisandre smiled as she saw the demon she made appear before her. It then flew away to the camp to kill its two targets. After the failed meeting with Stannis, Renly, Cat and Naruto were in Renly's tent discussing the possible alliance between the Starks and Baratheons to push the Lannisters back even further and end the war. You swear it? Renly asked. By the mother. My son has no interest in the Iron Throne. Cat told him as Renly looked at Naruto, who nodded. Then I see no reason for hostility between us. Your son can go on calling himself king in the north. The Starks will have complete control of all lands north of Moat Cailin, provided he gives me an oath of fealty. Renly said. And the wording of this oath? Cat asked. The same Ned Stark swore to Robert 18 years ago. Renly said as Cat thought for a second. Cat, their friendship held the kingdoms together. Cat looked at Naruto, who nodded. And in return for my son's loyalty? Cat asked. In the morning, I'll destroy my brother's army. When that's done, Baratheon and Stark will fight the Lannister together as one, as they have done many times before. Renly said as he got up and Brienne was removing his armor. Naruto and Cat stood up as Cat tried to talk him out of fighting his brother. Our two houses have always been close. Which is why I am begging you to reconsider this battle. Negotiate a peace with your brother, negotiate with Stannis? Renly asked as he chuckled. You heard him out there, I'd have better luck debating the wind. Please bring my terms to your son. I believe we are naturally allies. Together we can end this war in a fortnight. Renly said as Kurama ran into the tent. Kit, something's wrong. Kurama said in a worried tone. Then a gust of wind came into the tent as Cat and Naruto were confused. They then saw a shadow figure appear behind Renly. Renly! Naruto shouted as the shadow demon stabbed him in the chest. Brienne and Cat saw a shadow come out of the ground as it killed Renly. No! Brienne yelled as Kurama roared, sending out a chakra shockwave which caused the shadow figure to solidify so they could see it more clearly and it couldn't smoke out. The other guards heard the roar and walked in to see the demon kill their king. The demon let Renly's body fall as Naruto drew his sword and it charged, but his sword went right through it, like air. The demon then backhanded him, sending him through the air, into Cat and Kurama. Brienne drew her sword to kill it but the demon knocked her away as other guards attacked it but their weapons were of no use. It killed 2 soldiers as more guards rushed in to see the demon. Kurama saw one of Naruto's kunais on the floor, grabbed it with his tail, channeled his chakra into it as the demon turned to Naruto. Enemy, kill, for father, Stannis. The demon shouted as Brienne tried to stab it but the sword did nothing. The demon then grabbed her by the neck and started to choke her as Kurama finished channeling enough chakra into the weapon. Kit, throw! Kurama yelled as he tossed the kunai at Naruto. Hey, ugly! Naruto shouted as the demon let Brienne go. Your father's next! Naruto shouted as he threw the kunai and it hit the demon in the chest, where the heart would be. The kunai glowed red as the demon stood still, then the chakra flowed through the demon and it shouted out in pain. It gave one more loud demon scream before it bursts into flames as everyone covered their eyes from the fire. They opened their eyes to see the demon killed and gone, but Renly is dead as well. Renly! Naruto shouted as he went up to him and tried to close the wound, but Renly was dying. Naruto, Stannis, he can't be king. Renly told him as the life faded from his eyes and died. No! Brienne shouted as Loras and Marjorie ran in to see Naruto holding Renly, but Renly was dead. Renly! Marjorie shouted as she and Loras went to his side and held him. What happened? Loras asked as Naruto grabbed his kunai off the floor. Stannis killed his brother. Naruto said, "That monster, he'll pay for this." Loras said in anger, "And he will. Cat, get your things ready, we leave now. We can't be sure if Stannis has another surprise waiting for us now. We can't risk being trapped." Naruto told Cat, who nodded. Brienne. Naruto said as Brienne was still shaken by what she fought and that Renly is dead. Brienne. Naruto said, getting her attention. "Are you with me?" "Yes, Lord Naruto." She said, "Good. Spread the word and tell any man who wishes, can come with us to King's Landing. I'll bury Renly with his brother there." Naruto told her as she nodded. "You men, prepare a cart to take Renly's body with us." Naruto said, "Yes, Lord Naruto." The soldiers said as they left. Naruto looked to see Marjorie and Loras over Renly's body. "You cannot stay here. Stannis will come and he will kill you both. We must leave." Naruto told them, "I'm not going anywhere. If Stannis wants a fight, he'll get a fight. Ride back to High Garden, sister." Loras told her, "You cannot fight Stannis here. He has the advantage of the sea, and with Renly dead, there is nothing to stop some of his men from turning on you. Live to fight another day." Naruto told him, "Listen to him, brother." Marjorie said as Loras was looking at Renly's body, "What do you desire most, Sir Loras?" Naruto asked. "Revenge." Loras said in anger, "And you will have it. But now here, not now. We must leave, come back to King's Landing with us. And I promise you, I will give you Stannis' head." Naruto told him as Loras looked at him, "All right. I'll get the men. We leave now." Loras said as he got up. He saw Renly's crown, picked it up and handed it to Naruto as he left the tent. I'm sorry, Marjorie." Naruto told her. "He was going to be king, and I is queen." Marjorie said, "Bonds, even forced ones, take time to heal." Naruto told her, "Hurry, prepare yourself, we leave as soon as we are able." The next morning, news of Renly Baratheon's death had spread throughout the kingdom as many grieved while others cheered. Those were the Lannisters. Tyrion was talking to his sister in his study about the recent news. "Killed, by whom?" Cersei asked. "It would seem that Stannis had his brother killed after negotiations went sour. Using the Red Woman, he made a shadow demon and it killed his brother, in his tent at night." Tyrion told her as he poured her a glass of wine. "Well then to Stannis, I say well done." Cersei said, "That's not what father says. He says that many of the unwise members of Renly's army have flocked to Stannis. More than half of the forces, which would give Stannis superiority over us on both land and sea." Tyrion said, "We can still outspend him 3-1. Cersei said, "I say father raised you to have too much respect for money." With Renly dead by his brother's hands, Naruto will never allow another Baratheon onto the throne. Some of Renly's men now follow Naruto, giving him more numbers, including the Tyrells, who flock to King's Landing as we speak. Tyrion said as Cersei ignored him. "Well, hopefully that won't matter for long. Naruto sent his reply and he will meet with me and father to discuss a possible treaty to end this conflict." "Father agreed to a peace talk?" Cersei asked, thinking Tyrion was joking. "Father agreed to speak to the man who could destroy without a second thought if he chose to." Tyrion told her as she glared at him. "Hopefully, we can all come out of this alive," Tyrion said as he left the room. Cersei glared at him, making peace with that boy when it provided the perfect opportunity to attack. She would seize upon the opportunity, with some help from her new allies. Back at Storm's End, Stannis had taken to shore, and whatever men that remained pledged their loyalty to the last Baratheon and rightful heir to the throne. The remaining bannermen pledged themselves to Stannis, giving him an extra 60,000 troops, with the rest of the 15,000 moving to King's Landing, with the remaining 25,000 Tyrells following Naruto Uzumaki. But it didn't matter, Stannis now had the numbers. He was walking with Ser Davos as the men bowed and addressed Stannis as their king. Changed up the division of troops since Naruto convinced the Tyrells to come with him to King's Landing. The Baratheon troops make up a larger sum of the 100,000 total troops than the Tyrells for this story. "I'm sorry about your brother, Your Grace," Davos said. "I want to let you know that people grieve for him. Fools love of fools. I grieve for him as well as the boy he was, not the man he grew to be." Stannis said, "I need to speak to you about what I saw in that cave." Davos said, "I told you there would be no need to speak to me of that matter. I've never known you to need to hear a thing twice." Stannis said as he and Davos walked into Renly's tent, "And I've never known you to hide from the truth." Davos said, "You've come to lecture me on truth?" Stannis asked, "I've come to tell you my army has now more than tripled in size. Most of Renly's bannermen have come to my side. Save for a few traitors and the Tyrells who fled like cowards. They won't be able to resist us now. Soon, I shall be sitting on the Iron Throne." Stannis said, "Nothing is worth what this will cost you, not even the Iron Throne." Davos said, "When do we sail for King's Landing?" "As soon as I consolidated my troops. Make short work of the remaining resistance ships. Once Blackwater Bay is cleared, we deliver our troops to their doorstep and take the city." Stannis said, "And will you bring Lady Melisandre with you?" Davos asked. "Well, that's not your concern." Stannis said, "If you take King's Landing, with her by your side, the victory will be hers." Davos told him, "I never thought I'd have reason to doubt your loyalty, was I wrong?" Stannis asked, "Loyal service means telling hard truths." Davos said, "Hard truths, again." Stannis said, "All right, what's the truth? She's a foreigner. Preaching her foreign religion. Some say she whispers orders in your ears and you obey." Davos said, "What do you believe?" Stannis asked, "You won those bannermen from Renly, don't lost them to her." Davos told him, "We set out for King's Landing without Lady Melisandre. And you lead the fleet into Blackwater Bay." Stannis said, "Over in the north, Theon was talking with Maester Luwin, Ser Roderick, and Bran. After Naruto had Theon Hyreshine to Winterfell, they told Maester Luwin and the others of what Theon's family was going to do. Bran had Theon work with Ser Roderick and Naruto on setting up an ambush along the coast, at the designated spots that Theon said they would attack. They blocked out the sea passages that they would have used to attack and hit ground by having Naruto's clones block the passages with rocks, and used his ice seal arrows to make crossing impossible unless the ship was destroyed. Naruto's clones were also able to use collaboration jutsus to make the seas very uneasy and difficult for ships to sail for long, and a few were sunk while the rest ran away. Weeks had passed and another attack had not come. They were able to repel the attack, but Lord Balon would not give up. In Essos, Daenerys and her group were given shelter by Zarozo and Daxos in Karth. They were clothed, bathed, and fed as they rested from their long journey. Daenerys and Doria were training Drogo to use his fire on command. Drogon sat on a ledge as Daenerys put a cube of raw meat in front of him. "Dracarys," Daenerys said as her dragon just looked at her. "Dracarys," she said again, slower, as Drogon spit a few puffs of smoke but then let loose a weak stream of fire that was able to cook the meat. Daenerys and Doria smiled as Drogon then picked up the meat and ate it. "He'll be able to feed himself from now on," Daenerys said as she went over to her bed as Irri was mending some clothes. Doria reached over for another chunk of meat. "Let him sleep, Doria," Daenerys told her. "Yes, Khaleesi," Doria said as she gently put Drogon in his cage. "He loves you," Daenerys said, seeing how fond Drogon was of Doria. "I removed this part of the top," Irri told Daenerys, fixing her shirt and boots. "And fixed the heel of on this one. Thank you, my friend," Daenerys said. Did you see the dress Zaro had made for you? Doria asked as she showed Daenerys the lovely blue silk dress. They say he's the wealthiest man in Karth. It is known. Eerie said. And if Karth is the wealthiest city in Essos, the last time a rich man gave me a dress, he was selling me to Khal Drogo. Daenerys said. May he ride through the night lands. Eerie said in respect. Zaro's our host, but we know nothing about him. Men like to talk about other men when they're happy. Daenerys said. Daenerys and her group, dressed up in formal and elegant clothes for the party that Zaro was throwing in her honor. The Dothraki were uncomfortable and it could be seen. They didn't feel comfortable, as the men and women of Karth talked about their vast wealth and how to spend it. Daenerys was having fun as was Doria, but there was an issue. She saw Yora talking to two men near a solid gold statue. What are they doing? Daenerys asked as she walked up to the three. Malako says this statue is too heavy. Kovaro says that Malako is an idiot. They can pry out the gems, the rest if pure gold. Very soft. He can chop off as much as we can carry. Yora told her. Or melt it. Very simple. Kovaro told Daenerys. We are his guests. You can't pry it or chop it or melt it. Daenerys told him. Of course, not Khaleesi. We will wait until we leave. Kovaro said. Not even when we leave. She said. Why not? He asked. Our host saved us from the Red Waste and you want to steal from him? I will hear no more. Daenerys told him. With Naruto's clone that was following her, he scaled the walls and snuck his way into the Zaro's home and party. He was on the roofs, watching from above as the people mingled and found Daenerys. She had changed from her Dothraki rags to a dress. He saw Jorah Mormont as well, but then he saw Pietri, a warlock of Karth. Naruto heard tales of the warlocks, with magic that many didn't understand and believed was real, but it was, yet nothing compares to Naruto. But he heard Piet talk to Daenerys and heard his fascination with her dragons, which was something he needed to keep an eye on. If the warlocks got control over Daenerys and her dragons, they both could be used to horrible effect. Daenerys smiled as she talked to Zaro but saw someone on the roof. She couldn't completely make out who it was, but it was a man with a hood and cloak who was looking at her. She looked at Jorah for a second and then back to see the figure was gone. Who was that? Back on the road to King's Landing, Naruto's company stopped by a stream to rest and water their horses. Marjorie and Loras stayed with Renly's body while some men ate and got more water. Naruto was with Kat and Brienne as Kurama walked to the river and drank some water. Naruto brought out a map of King's Landing. We're about a few hours from King's Landing. I sent a message ahead already and Ser Barristan is expecting the Tyrells and has made arrangements for the house of our new guests as well as other arrangements to be made. Kat, I'll send a clone with you to take you to Rob's camp. We'll split off the road here and then it's a straight shot back. Naruto told Kat. Good, I need to go back to Winterfell. Bran and Rickon need me. I've been gone for far too long. Kat said. While you stop in Rob's camp, hand him the message I gave you. I think he'll be happy with what you and I have talked about. Naruto said with a smile. All right. Kat said as she smiled back. And what of me? Will you give me the freedom to leave, my lord? Brienne asked. Do you intend to kill Stannis? Naruto asked. I swore an oath. Brienne said. Stannis has a great army around him. His own guards are meant to keep him safe. Kat said. I'm as good as any of them. I should have never fled. Brienne said. Renly's death was not your fault. You fought against a shadow demon, a demon that no one could have killed. You fought with honor and served him bravely. Naruto told her as Brienne was upset at her first duty of Kingsguard had failed. You did honorably, Brienne. And you will do nothing good if you follow Renly into the earth. Renly's enemies are my enemies as well. I would be honored to have you by my side, as we bring Stannis to justice for his crimes. Naruto told her as she had a glimmer of happiness in her eyes. Brienne took a knee before Naruto. She unsheathed her sword and spoke her oath. Then I am yours, my lord. I will shield your back and give my life for yours, should it come to that. I swear it by the old gods and the new ones. Brienne swore to Naruto. And I vow that you will always have a place by my side, at my council, and that I shall ask no service to you that would bring you dishonor, or I would not do myself. I swear it by the old gods and the new. Naruto said as he unsheathed his sword and touched her shoulder. Rise, again. Brienne of the Kingsguard. Naruto said as Brienne smiled and stood up. Everyone got saddled up for the last leg of their journey while Naruto created a clone to take Kat back to Rob's camp. Naruto hugged her tight as he watched her leave. Naruto then got on Kurama as Brienne got on her horse. All right, men. We ride for King's Landing. We're almost home. Naruto said as they rode to the capital. They rode for a few hours as the sun was traveling in the sky as the afternoon turned to early evening. They approached the gates to the city as they opened, and the city watch immediately saluted Naruto and Naruto saluted back. Welcome back, Lord Naruto. One of the city watchmen said. It's good to be back. Naruto said with a smile. How's the city been? Never better. The man said as Brienne, the Tyrells and Renly's soldiers rode into King's Landing to see a completely different city than it had been for years. It was clean, as a new plumbing and sewage system that Naruto and Pycelle worked out kept the city cleaner. People were happy and the mood of the city was of joy. Marjorie watched from her carriage as she saw a King's Landing she had not previously seen or heard of before. The people were happy and smiled as they passed by. Marjorie saw that the people were cheering for Naruto, praising him and welcoming him like they would a great, kind and powerful king. Children looked up to him and cheered for him as he smiled and waved back. Grateful merchants tossed fruit to him and the soldiers as welcome gifts. Marjorie began to see Naruto in a much different and better light than she had before. They rode up to the gate of the castle as Ser Barristan and Kleber were waiting for them. Naruto got off his horse as he walked up to them and shook their hands, like friends would after not seeing each other for a long time. Welcome back, Lord Naruto. Even though you were never really gone, but nevertheless, welcome back. Kleber said. Thank you, Ser Kleber. It is good to be back. Naruto said. Naruto, those arrangements for our guests are taken care of. Barristan said. Perfect. Ser Kleber, if you would have some men take our new guests to their quarters. Naruto said. Of course. Ser Kleber said as he told some men to help move the soldiers to their barracks. Marjorie, Loras, rooms have been prepared for you in the castle. I hope you find it to your liking. Naruto said. Thank you, Naruto. Marjorie said as she and her brother were led to their rooms. Ser Barristan, Kleber. May I introduce Brienne of Tarth, newest member of the Kingsguard? Naruto said as Brienne bowed. Welcome. Barristan said. Come, let us go inside. We have much to discuss. Naruto said as they walked into the castle to the small council room where Pycelle was waiting for them. Ah, Lord Naruto. Welcome back. Pycelle said. Thank you, Maester Pycelle. It is good to be back. And I'm glad our plan for the new sewer system is working. Naruto said as Pycelle smiled. It's been going well, Ser. Pycelle said with a smile. Excellent. We have much to discuss. Naruto said as he, Barristan, Kleber and Pycelle sat at the table. Brienne, you can sit as well. Naruto told her as she sat down. I still can't believe that Stannis would kill his own brother. Dreadful. Pycelle said. It was him. The shadow demon called out his name and called him father. Naruto said. How could Stannis make a shadow demon? Kleber asked. The Red Woman. Brienne said. She's given Stannis any means to attack his enemies, and he will seize upon that. He has no problem with doing whatever it takes to get what he wants. But sending a shadow demon to kill his brother is one move too far. Naruto said. Agreed. Stannis has become unstable because of that woman. Pycelle said, which sort of shocked Naruto, Barristan and Kleber. I have to say that I am surprised, Grand Maester Pycelle. I thought that you supported Stannis' claim to the throne. Naruto said. I did, but that there is no excuse for him to kill his own brother. Pycelle said as they smiled. Well, now that Stannis has the numbers, he will sail for King's Landing and take the throne. Naruto said. How long do you think before they get here? Brienne asked. If he measures up his forces and has the ships ready, perhaps 6 days, 5 days if we're unlucky. Barristan said. We'll have to prepare to fight him when he gets here. Tomorrow we will host the memorial service for Renly and he can be buried with Robert. Afterwards we will devote our time to preparing for the attack. Naruto said. My lord, what about the other matter you told us about? Pycelle asked. We will save that for a later date. We need to focus on the protection of the city first. Naruto said as everyone nodded. Understood, but should you decide to have a small ceremony, I have already gone to the September of Baelor and they said when you are ready, they will be ready as well and the ceremony will be done. Pycelle said as Naruto smiled. Thank you, my friend. Naruto told him. That's it for this reading. Hit like and subscribe for a free ticket pass going to the different worlds of anime fanfiction. Looking forward to having you on board again.